What's going on, Internet? Brandon here from nerdlocker.com. And we've got this week's comic book reviews. I'm starting off with Prometheus, #1. This has been something I've been very excited for when I found out that Dark Horse could not continue their Star Wars lines for obvious reasons. They announced we're going to be doing Prometheus, Alien, and Predator. 3 titles that they've had, or 2 titles that they had in the past. And I was stoked on Prometheus because I love the movie so much. This takes place after the movie, which is cool. The movie happened, and it's a big part of what's going on in this book. We join a crew that is going to salvage the ship from the movie. What the crew doesn't know, though, is what happened. We get Clara, who is kind of the narrator of this film. She's filming footage for the salvage mission. And we actually see Angela, the captain, later on, talk to the camera by herself and being like, I've told everyone this is a salvage mission, but I know about the mission. I know what happened. I know that Peter Weyland did not die on Earth. I know that he went to this planet and never returned, and I'm here to finish what he started, because she knows about the engineers, or the idea of the engineers, and she just didn't tell anyone that's why they're going. I love the idea behind this, first off, that I was confused on how Prometheus was getting its own book series in this. I understand Alien and Predator because they're different creatures you can put at different times and anything, but Prometheus was such a exact thing, and they're really doing this in a very creative way. If you're a fan of the movie, if you're a fan of the movie, the feel is just perfect. Just the environments. There's some stuff that's changed on the planet, and I can't wait to see just what's become of all that. And the last page ends with something pretty big. I think we're gonna get some answers from this as far as what happened. How did the aliens go from this planet to everywhere else? There's no bridge there that builds any of that. But I think this comic book is going to be exactly that. I'm very excited for this. I suggest you guys pick this up. It's #1, so it's obviously the best time to jump on. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there, nerds. Jim here with my comic book reviews this week. And first up, I have Archer and Armstrong #24. Now, we know Archer and Armstrong are also teaming up with Quantum and Woody in The Delinquents, so it's cool we get sort of a double whammy. But this is one of those times where the cover is really deceiving. We see Mary Maria and Archer and Armstrong, but Archer and Armstrong isn't in the story. So don't get too excited. But Mary Maria and the sister of Perpetual Darkness have a great storyline. We focus on Mary Maria, and she really goes back and forth with showing her history and where she's from before she became an Archer, and she was adopted, essentially sold, to present day where she's an assassin and she's taking care of business. I really like how this story comes together, and we really meet in the middle here of why she's on this mission and why she basically volunteered hardcore for this mission. I enjoyed it. Again, I was bummed we didn't see anything from Archer and Armstrong, but at the same time, we're starting a new storyline. I like how we jumped in with a character we haven't seen in a while, so that was really cool. I would recommend it. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Again, really want to see more Archer and Armstrong. But it was entertaining. We get to find out more of Mary Maria, and hopefully we'll get the boys back into it. Check it out.
Hey guys, this week I got to check out a new #1 from Image Comics called Copperhead. It's written by Jay Farber, but if you know his name, he wrote New Warriors a while back. He also wrote one of my favorite Image comics called Noble Causes, which ended way too soon. I even wrote him a really angry letter when it ended. I'm kind of embarrassed about that. But I was interested in reading this new book, Copperhead, which is a story of a new sheriff in town, or on planet, actually. Sheriff Bronson and her son have now moved to a new mining town full of alien creatures and everything that she has to maintain. And there's a few hillbillies in town that she has to manage, and a few other different things. But the really interesting thing is this tycoon who kind of runs most of the town, and she's trying to get a feel of how he is and where he's going to take her. I'm interested in seeing where that storyline is going to go, but also the artificial humans in this kind of this future that we live in, where, I mean, it's kind of like the Alien franchise. You've got these cyborgs living among us, and they kind of have rights, they kind of don't. And I want to see where that story goes. I'm really interested in this book. The artwork by Scott Godlewski is great. I have not heard of him before, but I want to read more of this book just because of that. And Jay Farber, I'm going to give you another chance. Just don't end this book too soon. I'm going to give this book 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out.
So next up, I got to read Lazarus number 11. Been a big fan of Lazarus from the beginning. I'm really excited where this is going because we're meeting more families. And this one specifically picks up after the last one, where Jonah was, you could say, kidnapped, except he voluntarily gave himself up, but he didn't expect the results. So now he's basically a captive. We have another Lazarus, which is awesome because we haven't seen a Lazarus since, I think it was Marcus, way back when in the first storyline. With the Mores. I'm really excited by this. It's the clan Bittner, or family Bittner, and it's Sonia. And she basically comes out of the mist, and the Carlisle soldiers are like, oh my god, we gotta shoot. And the one's like, you can't, she's a Lazarus. And it's really cool that you see the respect, even though they're at war, you see the respect for Lazarus. And they call in Forever, and then she works out what they're gonna do. Lot of intrigue. Lot of intrigue. I love it. Forever's dad. Well, let's go back to Forever. She is still not sure if she's a part of the family or not, and she broaches the subject, and we still don't know for sure. She's constantly being told she is, but there's still that level. As Jonah left, and he said, you're not a part of the family, it's like, why would he say that? Is he telling the truth or just messing with her like older siblings do with younger siblings? But there's also more intrigue. I really picture a scene from The Godfather because Forever's father is setting up a meeting of everybody, and I just envision this scene where he's gonna wipe them all out because things are going on. Clearly, the Carlyles are a target, and it's interesting because we don't know exactly why. I don't want to see why, but the Hawk family really was coming after him, and the Bittner family sort of serves as this third party to get things going. But it's really great intrigue. Highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to go ahead and get Lazarus, number 11, 3.5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, Cubby here with my comic reviews this week. I got to do Wild Ends, number 1. This is actually a book by Dan Abnett, who, if you guys do not know, he actually pretty much restarted the Guardians of the Galaxy with Andy Lanning when they got to where they are now, with Star-Lord on the team and Groot and Rocket and all that stuff. He restarted that. He did Annihilation. He's done a lot of great books for Marvel, a lot of great retellings on certain things. He's just a really good writer in general, and this book, I feel, actually really shows that off really well. It's kind of like a Fantastic Mr. Fox feel, where they're anthropomorphic. You know, it's a dog that's like an old Navy dude, and it's all kind of like in England, like an old countryside-esque feel to it. And that's kind of where they are. The one thing about it was you don't get too much of the story, of the backstory necessarily, but it feels really fleshed out. There's a lot to it. There's a lot going on. It's all very quaint and quiet and small, and like at the end of the book there was like a little, not a clipping, but like a couple pages from like the local newspaper, which I always like things like that. So it kind of gave it the feel of, this is going to sound really weird, but it gave it the feel of the village from Hot Fuzz, to where there's stuff that's going on. It's like that. There's the people that kind of run the town and do their thing and whatever, and they're trying to, like, you know, include the newer people into it. Nothing after that. It's nothing like Hot Fuzz. I'm just saying the setting of it, it felt like that, but it was a lot more quaint, and there is some crazy shiza going down, which it starts off with, kind of goes into it. And that's what I liked about it, is it's building the story up, but it's not giving you everything right now. It's making you want to know and learn and figure it out. And this threat, this thing that shows up, is actually pretty interesting. The way it, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, it looks like a really cool invasion story, pretty much, to give a little bit away. But definitely really cool. And if you like a little more talky, if you want to take a little break from crazy action, I would say this is definitely a book that I would suggest now. And if you do want something like that, it'll probably show up later on. I mean, there's no way they're setting up certain things and certain characters, giving them certain backstories, if they weren't going to pay off into like an action issue eventually, or something to do with some crazy stuff going on. That's one thing I really enjoyed about this book. Artwork was really good as well. I mean, it looks like a cartoon, not in a bad way, not in a, oh my God, this is the greatest comic book I've ever read, but it looked really good. It carried through what it needed to carry through. I'm really excited for this. I want to see where this goes, so I'm going to give this 4.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
So finally I got to read Terminator Salvation, The Final Battle, number 9 out of 12. Huge fan of this book. J. Michael Straczynski has done some amazing things with these stories. I love it. I also love it that we have a movie that started this, and we can use the actors in our mind as they're going through the comic book. Specifically, Dr. Kogan. She's the one that kicks off this storyline, and she's the one that obviously has been through the whole storyline as the human doctor in the past, present time, as well as the future. She was played by Helena Bonham Carter in the movie. We see her sort of questioning her humanity and why is she doing this, and to what extent is she willing to go to do this. Now we know her body's riddled with cancer and she's dying, but she's sort of getting an inkling of, damn, I'm really giving a lot up for these Terminator guys in the right now, present, past, whatever. What's the effect? What future am I going to wake up in? And we're kind of seeing that. I'm glad we're seeing it. I'm not sure why it took so long, but I'm glad we're finally seeing it, because as we pop to the future, we see her sort of fighting the system, Skynet. We see Parnell. Parnell's obviously trying to get more and more of Skynet. He's at about 90% in this. We don't know where John Connor's future is going to be. He knows right now at this point that Marcus has failed because he went back in time. If he had succeeded, that moment, everything would have changed for him, would have been better. At least in the timeline, history, future, whatever, time travel that we have for this book. So we don't know what's going on. Right now, it looks like the Terminators are losing and the humans are losing, all because of Parnell. So it'd be Skynet and the humans. I'm a little nervous about this because the other book that Dark Horse is currently doing with Terminator by Dan Jolly is sort of friend of my enemy is my, or enemy of my friend is my friend, enemy, whatever, that whole thing. And I really foresee this event where Skynet and John Connor, they're going to have to team up. And I'm just nervous because that's very similar to what the other storyline of that other book is. So I'm nervous that that's going to happen. I don't know, because it's been so intriguing so far. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I really hope J. Michael keeps it up. He's been doing fantastic. I can't wait to read the next book.
Hey guys, Brandon from Nerdlocker here, and if you like the review you just saw, why don't you check out some more of our reviews over here, right on the side, through the magic of editing.